from luxury and million-dollar salaries to broke, forgotten, and some living off the kindness of friends. Today, you'll see what happened to famous Hollywood heartthrobs from the 80s and 90s who vanished from the spotlight with their current age and appearance. Patrick Swayze played James Dalton, the legendary bouncer with a philosophy degree who was hired to clean up the Double Deuce. At 36 during filming, Swayze was at the peak of his fame after Dirty Dancing. But behind the heartthrob image, Swayze struggled with alcohol. After his father died in 1982 at age 57, he began drinking heavily, a battle that lasted nearly a decade. He entered rehab in 1993 but relapsed in 2003, causing his wife, Lisa Nemi, to temporarily move out until he agreed to seek help again. During the filming of Fatherhood, he admitted to passing out on set due to drinking. The couple also suffered the loss of a pregnancy, and in 1994, his sister Vicky died of an overdose. In January 2008, Swayze was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Tonight I stand here, another individual living with cancer, who asks that we not wait any longer. And I ask only one thing of you. Will you stand up with me?
Doctors gave him weeks to live, but he kept working, filming the series The Beast during treatment. On September 14, 2009, Patrick Swayze died at home in Los Angeles at 57, the exact same age his father had died. Few villains from 1980s cinema managed to convey such coldness and cruelty as Brad Wesley in Roadhouse. Ben Gazzara brought to life the corrupt businessman who controlled the town of Jasper through intimidation and extortion. At the time of filming in 1988, the actor was already 58 years old and carried an impressive background from American theater, having been nominated 3 times for the Tony Award and studied with Lee Strasberg at the legendary Actors Studio. At 81 years old when he passed away, Gazzara had built a career spanning more than 5 decades, but his final years were marked by devastating health problems. In 1999, he was diagnosed with throat cancer. In 2005, he suffered a stroke that compromised his mobility. Despite being weakened, he continued acting as long as his body allowed. On February 3, 2012, Ben Gazzara died of pancreatic cancer at Bellevue Hospital Center in Manhattan. He was cremated and left behind his wife Elka, to whom he had been married for 30 years, and 2 daughters. Blind since the age of 1, Jeff Healey played Cody, the guitarist at the Double Deuce in Roadhouse. At just 22, he played guitar flat on his lap, a technique born after losing both eyes to retinoblastoma.
As a child, I lost my sight to cancer. Today, I have my health monitored by professionals who know about the long-term challenges of childhood cancer survivors.
Adopted as an infant, Healey never knew his biological parents. In 1992, he married Krista Miller and had a daughter, Rachel, but the marriage fell apart, ending in divorce in 1998. As the 90s progressed, his record sales declined sharply, and he faded from mainstream success. He found love again with Christy Hall, marrying in 2003, and they had a son, Derek, who was born with the same genetic cancer that took his father's sight. In January 2007, doctors removed cancerous tissue from both lungs. He had already undergone surgeries to remove sarcomas from his legs. The cancer kept spreading. On March 2, 2008, Jeff Healey died at St. Joseph's Hospital in Toronto, just 41 years old, leaving Rachel, 13, and Derek, only 3. With his deep voice and rugged mustache, Sam Elliott brought Wade Garrett to life, Dalton's mentor and best friend in Roadhouse. The veteran bouncer was described as too old for the job, even though the actor was only 44 at the time of filming in 1988. Elliott had already built a solid career in westerns, appearing in Mask alongside Cher, and would later become a Hollywood icon with Tombstone and The Big Lebowski. At 81 years old today, he's still going strong, receiving his first Oscar nomination for A Star is Born in 2018 and currently starring in the series Landman. Elliott has been married to actress Catherine Ross since 1984, but not everything was perfect at home. In 2011, their only daughter, Cleo Rose, then 26, physically attacked her mother with a sharp object, injuring her arm multiple times and threatening to kill her. Ross filed a restraining order, claiming Cleo had been abusive since childhood. The case was later dropped when neither showed up to court. Gary Hudson played Steve, one of the bouncers at the Double Deuce, who gets fired by Dalton early in the film. At 33 years old during filming, Hudson had moved to Los Angeles in 1979 with dreams of becoming a Hollywood star. Despite accumulating over 100 credits in film and television across more than 4 decades, Hudson worked mostly in low-budget films and small TV appearances. In 2009, he received a Best Actor nomination at the Monte Carlo Television Festival for the Canadian series Wild Roses, one of his most notable roles alongside a recurring part as FBI agent Frank Loader in Smallville. After years of splitting time between both countries searching for work, he eventually acquired Canadian citizenship. Today, at 69, Hudson teaches acting seminars and sells personalized video messages on Cameo to supplement his income. In November 2025, he participated in the Willie Stargell Celebrity Invitational, a charity golf event. He currently lives in his hometown of Newport News, Virginia. Kimberly Herron appeared as one of the party girls in Roadhouse. At 31 during filming, she was already famous as Playboy's Playmate of the Month in March 1981 and had graced the magazine's cover twice. She also starred in the iconic Zsa Top music video, Legs, and played the seductive dream ghost in Ghostbusters, floating above Dan Aykroyd in one of the film's most memorable scenes. After Roadhouse, her career quickly faded. Her last credited role was in the 1996 low-budget film Squanderers. After that, Herron completely disappeared from public life. She spent years living aboard a 75-foot yacht, sailing through the California coast, the Panama Canal, and the Caribbean. She eventually settled in Santa Barbara, California, living in near total anonymity. On October 28, 2022, Kimberly Herron was found dead at her home. She was 65. Though no official cause was announced, her family requested donations for breast cancer research. Her niece posted a photo of Herron with her 2 late sisters, writing, "They are all together now." Born John Nominson Dushak in Illinois, John Doe played Pat McGurn, one of Brad Wesley's henchmen in Roadhouse. At 36 during filming, Doe was already a legend of the LA punk scene as co-founder of the band X. He fell in love with bandmate Exena Cervenka, and they married in 1980, but the marriage crumbled under the weight of touring and creative tensions, ending in divorce in 1985. That same year, they released the album Ain't Love Grand, painfully chronicling their breakup while still performing together. Exena later remarried actor Viggo Mortensen, but that marriage also ended in divorce. She was later diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, though doctors later said she may have been misdiagnosed. Despite everything, John and Exene kept X alive for nearly 50 years, continuing to tour even after their painful split. Doe remarried in 1987 to Gigi Blair and has 3 children. At 72 today, he still performs with X, who released their final album in 2024. Kevin Teague played Frank Tilghman, the owner of the Double Deuce who hires Dalton to clean up his bar. At 44 during filming, Teague was best known for playing paramedic Roy DeSoto on Emergency from 1972 to 1977. But before that role saved his career, he had nearly given up on Hollywood. Broke and frustrated, he had even considered moving to Prague to study law. Just 2 days after returning to the U.S. to raise money for the trip, he landed the Emergency audition that changed everything. After the show ended, his career hit another wall. Teague admitted in interviews that he never knew how to handle fame. He suffered anxiety at parties and felt truly miserable as a celebrity. His lifelong friend, actor John Ritter, died suddenly in 2003, a loss that deeply affected him. Today at 81, Teague lives a quiet life in rural Skagit County, Washington, far from Hollywood, with his wife Rebecca Fletcher appearing only occasionally in films. Wrestling legend Terry Funk played Morgan, one of Brad Wesley's thugs in Roadhouse. At 44 during filming, Funk was already a hardcore wrestling icon who had won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in 1975. His career spanned over 50 years with countless retirements and comebacks, but his final years were heartbreaking. In March 2019, his wife Vicky, his partner since 1965, passed away. They had been married for nearly 54 years. Funk's health rapidly declined after her death. In 2021, It was reported that he was suffering from dementia and had been moved to an assisted living facility in Amarillo, Texas. Friends said some days he couldn't recognize visitors or remember who he was. On August 23, 2023, Terry Funk died at a Phoenix area hospital from complications of dementia. He was 79 years old. His daughter Brandy confirmed the news to fellow wrestler Mick Foley, who called Funk my mentor, my idol, the greatest wrestler I ever saw. Marshall Teague played Jimmy, the ruthless henchman whose throat gets ripped out by Dalton in one of Roadhouse's most iconic scenes. At 36 during filming, Teague brought real combat experience to the role. He joined the Navy at 17 with his parents' permission and served in Vietnam. While in the 6th Fleet, he won the NATO Heavyweight Kickboxing Championship. After the military, he became a deputy sheriff in Memphis, where he crossed paths with Elvis Presley, often sparring with the King late at night at a local gym. His first week in Los Angeles was brutal. He paid a hotel janitor with beer just to sleep in a closet. Before acting took off, he worked security for former President Gerald Ford. Roadhouse was his breakthrough, and his friendship with Swayze lasted until the actor's death in 2009. At 72 today, Teague has over 130 credits and remains active, recently appearing in Reagan in 2024. He's been married to his wife, Lindy, since 1998. Red West played Red Webster, the auto parts store owner intimidated by Wesley's gang. At 52 during filming, West was famous for being Elvis Presley's childhood friend and bodyguard for over 20 years. They met at Humes High School in Memphis, where West protected the young singer from bullies. He appeared in 18 of Elvis's films and co-wrote songs like Separate Ways. But in 1976, Elvis's father, Vernon, fired him abruptly. Devastated and broke, West co-wrote the controversial book, Elvis, What Happened?, exposing the King's personal problems. It was published just 2 weeks before Elvis died, in August 1977. Many fans blamed West for the tragedy, a guilt he carried for decades. He continued acting, receiving critical acclaim for Goodbye Solo in 2008. On July 18, 2017, Red West died at Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis after suffering an aortic aneurysm. He was 81. His death came less than 2 months after his cousin Sonny West, also a former Elvis bodyguard, had passed away. Keith David played Ernie, one of the bouncers who works alongside Dalton at the Double Deuce. At 32 during filming, David had already appeared in The Thing and Platoon. Unlike most of his Roadhouse co-stars, David's career only grew after the film. At 69 today, he has amassed over 400 credits in film, television, and video games. He won 3 Emmy Awards for narrating Ken Burns documentaries and became an iconic voice actor, bringing to life characters like Goliath in Gargoyles, Spawn, the Arbiter in Halo, and Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog. In 2023, he took over the role of Commander Zavala in Destiny 2 after Lance Reddick's sudden death. In July 2025, it was announced that David will receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He also released his debut jazz album in 2025. David proves that it's possible to build a legendary career in Hollywood without ever being the leading man. Those striking green eyes and that razor-sharp jawline made her impossible to ignore on screen. Kelly Lynch was 30 when she played Dr. Elizabeth Clay in Roadhouse, fresh off her acclaimed role in Drugstore Cowboy. But a decade earlier, she almost didn't survive to see any of it. At 20, driving on a Minnesota freeway, another car crossed into her lane head-on. Her body flew through the windshield. Both legs were crushed between the steering wheel and dashboard. Doctors told her mother they needed to amputate or she would die of gangrene. Her mother refused, found another surgeon, and Lynch kept her legs. She spent nearly a year in the hospital learning to walk again. After Roadhouse, she turned down the role of Catherine Trammell in Basic Instinct, the part that made Sharon Stone a global superstar. Lynch said she did it because she had a young daughter to raise. At 66 today, she lives far from Hollywood in a remote desert house in Lone Pine, California, population under 2,000. The leading role she seemed destined for in 1989 never came. She's been married to producer Mitch Glazer since 1992. Who was your favorite character? And which one of them do you think didn't deserve the fate they got? Tell me in the comments. Make sure to subscribe and tap the like button too. I picked another video just like this one that I know you're going to love, and it should be popping up on your screen right now. I'll see you there.